All right. Good afternoon, everybody. A little 2 p.m. with Timmy. Hey, how you doing, everybody? It has been a long time. I am here live in the SAC in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've been on the road a lot over the last month and a half, and I just haven't had the time to get to these videos and the updates like I wish I could. I've got your emails. I got your texts. I know you guys are out there working hard. But so I thought we'd catch you up today. One, what do you think? New office decor, huh? You guys like it, right? I moved the flag back there. I still have the bikes over there. I had a little. I got my Lysol and some plants. So I'm just trying to spruce up the new office. Hey, so I've got the market update for the last week from Black Book. So let's see here. If you guys, maybe we just want to, all right, let's just see here. Can I do this? I don't know. Okay, good. Maybe if we see anybody come into the chat room again. All right, let's get to it. So, yeah, sales volume and information from NADA. Yeah. I tell you what, I'm really surprised that if you go back and look at the videos that I was doing over during COVID, you'll notice that I really anticipated this dip right here would continue up, but volume at the auction has definitely flattened. And look, it is it's dipped below what is normal. So clearly there are, some things that have happened in the auto industry that are holding cars going back to the auction. I don't know if it's all virtual, if there's a lot of hand selling going on. It'll be interesting to see when we look back at the tape. But we never saw this miss of sales, get accelerated through. So auction volume definitely has started to slow. Here's what hasn't slowed. Is our auction prices. God dang, 16 consecutive weeks of growth, according to NADA JD Powers. Dang, man. Only recently have we seen, them just starting to tick back. Remember, this is the market as a whole. So if you're looking at a particular segment of the market, it might be different if you're Highline or if you're trucks and SUVs or if you're under 10,000. It all differs. This is the entire market. But, is this the beginning of a slowdown? I'm not sure, but we'll continue to watch it. Black Book, they've done a really nice job stepping up and adding lots more graphs, so I really like it. Here's what I see from them, a couple of bullet points from their summary last week. Wholesale prices, right, continue their ascent, so they saw the same exact thing that NADA did. Retail listing prices took a little bit of a break. Actually, I think that they started to tick up. They're starting to flatten out as well, and we'll look at that. And then obviously this weekly initial unemployment claims. I don't like to talk about the bad news, but unfortunately, I think it's something that as an industry we need to look at. Okay. Whatever, it is going to affect the auto industry in some way, shape, or form, whether you're in the high end, right, or the middle trucks, SUVs, common core cars, or under 10,000. I think that the unemployment rate is going to have a big effect on what we do. Right? And in fact, you'll notice here that we did see a slight uptick from the previous week. We had made look where we were. This orange line, remember, represents the recession from 08 to 2010. You can see we're blowing those numbers out of the water. So we'll see how it goes going forward. I think we'll continue to look at this. I think another thing that's going to have a big play in the market, and I've talked about this a lot, is the consumer confidence. It did decrease again in July down to 72.5. Remember, I think 100 is the baseline here, so you can see the big drop off. As of a result of the virus. I don't, not a big drop off. What is this? This is back, during the recession. So it's like clearly consumers are not as worried today as we were back in 2010, 2011. So that's good news. I've showed this before, but I want to remind her, I think a lot of it also has to do with the cost of energy. Look where energy was at its peak during the recession. It did fall pretty hard, actually below, but you can see, this is kind of a completely juxtaposed. Hey, there's a big word for you, juxtaposed to what we saw back in 2011. So auction volume, according to Black Book, is in line with what NADA is showing. So that's good. I like, just make sure we're looking at different sources to keep everybody on their toes. It's definitely seemed to flatten out. Sales rate has also seemed to flatten out. Maybe a small tick down here over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Who knows? We'll continue to watch that. This is what I think is the most interesting, though, is again, we're seeing levels, listing volume. So this is number of cars listed online continues to fall, and this is where I believe this is where the industry, I think the market is going to remain strong, especially on 3-year-old and older vehicles. I just think there's such a big gap there between that and what is going to be new. I had a conversation yesterday with a dealer, and he's got a lot of new cars coming online. Even the guys at the domestic stores, they're starting to see cars come through. So you'll have to watch. If you're going to be in the used car game, I think you're going to win. I think used cars is where it's going to be at, especially for the profit side. But the nearly new, the late model, current model year, flipped out of rental car stuff, just be careful there, okay? I'm gonna call you out on this slide right here, Black Book. You're wrong. Every freaking time we look at this chart, you're calling for wholesale prices to drop, and they're just not dropping. I don't know. They're really calling for a big drop here in the spring of 2021. We'll see. It just hasn't happened. I should do just a video on this where I show slide after slide after slide where they're predicting this fall off in the wholesale market, and it just hasn't happened. What I will say is here, I started in June, wholesale prices continued to increase, and the overall market appreciated by a record 5.7%. As a comparison, last year's prices were on the decline, right here. Okay, so interesting what we were seeing this year on wholesale versus last year. I think it'll have a lot to do with how we go in the fall. Here's another big. Finally, retail prices are back. I can't believe it took this long to get back, considering the supply issues we've had all summer. But it's good to see that retail prices are back. Maybe took a bit of a blip here, but good news going forward. And I would continue to watch your inventory every single day. Some information here now from the guys at Cox Automotive. If you're in, this will kind of coincide with what my big takeaway for today. If you're in the CPO business, you're winning. Okay, you've got to be in the CPO business. And according to Cox Automotive, CPO sales were up 8% year over year in July. Okay, that's this right here. So from July up. But what you'll notice here is the CPO sales, they were down obviously from the previous month, but in general, you're winning if you're selling CPO, right? And who sells CPO? You've got to be a franchise dealer. You've got to be what I like to refer to as probably one of the publics, or you behave like one of the publics, right? So this was a great observation from Cox Automotive. For the first half of the year, large groups like Asbury, Group One, Lithia, Penske, Sonic, AutoNation, right? You count for roughly 7% of the sales on the new side, 5% of the used sales. But the market was down overall on new 23%. Okay, right here, but only for 21.8 for these stores. So the big franchises, the publics, were the ones that were really coming out on the good side of this thing. And if you look here, they're really coming out on the good side on the used side, right? The market was down 17% for used, but only 11.2% in this group. And I know some of the people that I work with were better than down 11.2. So listen, it's all about process, people, product. You've got to be able to be flexible online, talk with your customers, a good appraisal process, sell a quality vehicle. I mean, these are the things that the publics do, and they do really, really well. So good information from the guys at Cox Automotive. Here's what I'm in closing with, right? You've got to be looking at your appraisal closing rate, all right? You've got to close more trades. Stop jacking around with the auction. What is your closing rate, and how does that correlate to what your immediate wholesale is? If you don't know what your immediate wholesale is, hit me up. I'll find it out for you, okay? Stop the drop. God dang. Why are we now discounting cars? Because we see some profit margin in them? Stop it. And then finally, stick to what you know, right? Auction prices, we just went through them. They're at an all-time high, right? You need to stay in your lane. If you're going to be out at the sale buying cars right now, I caution you to venturing out of your lane, all right? If you're a Toyota dealer and you're messing around over at the Chrysler lane, get the hell out of there. So it's really good to be back from you guys from a break. I've got a couple things planned to try and kick out this week. We'll see what happens. This is Tim Scoutless, live from the back lot. It's good seeing you guys, okay? See ya.